Well, I just want to make a couple more comments about the wonderful metal of silver. I'm going to actually interject into some of the videos on this channel, some other things, even on the silver videos, but I'm going to have a mixed hodgepodge on this channel because I don't know how to make another channel. I'm not going to bother. I just kind of do this for fun, you know? Anyway, one of the things I got on here for with silver is because some of these people were driving me nuts with the BS they were throwing out there on YouTube, and it's 100% free country. You know, you can say what you want, and I'm not saying that, but I just warn people, use a little common sense. Like, number one, you know, if all the metals are going down and silver's going down also, it's not necessarily a conspiracy against silver. Another metal you're probably going to see do pretty well, not as good as silver or gold, but it's copper. Copper. You know, if they have to stimulate the economy, copper is going to come on pretty strong. We know back in 1982, what did they have to do with the penny? Right? They had to switch it over to 90% zinc, and today that's worth about 3 times. So that's not as good as a performance increase as silver, but still it's okay. Now, I know this is a silver video, but like I said, I'm going to flip around on a couple basic common sense things. In the case, I know a lot of people in the silver, sometimes they look at copper. Don't buy those bullion bars. Those things are a rip-off. If you look at the price of copper, I don't know, say it's $3.50 a pound. You know, they're charging you like $1 something for an ounce. It's crazy. So in other words, they're charging you 15, 20 bucks for a pound because it's a minted coin. The best thing I said before is just get the nickels. Now right now the face value of the nickel is about well, it's 5 cents, right? But I mean, the melt value of the nickel is about 96% of the face value. But, you know, before, just not long ago, it was about 111%. So that's the best way to get copper, pretty much. Even if it's not, even if it's a mixture. I know the nickels that are produced today, since 1946 till today, they're going to be worth some extra money later on. They're too bulky, that's what's wrong with them, but they're going to be worth extra money. Now, I noticed there's also a number of people on YouTube flip-flopping on their beliefs. You know, before they were buying silver, before they were selling silver, they're saying silver's going down, and now silver's going up. Well, I've been maintaining all along that I keep thinking it's going below this 26, but who the hell knows? Maybe it's not, because the correction period can just sit around for a really long time, sitting flat, and then it bounces up. The one thing I have a little suspicion about that's coming up here pretty soon is the 2012 Olympics. I don't know. It's a pretty way out there rumor, but they did, you know, there was that thing from the Rockefeller Foundation, you know, some years ago, mentioning what-if scenarios with the 2012 Olympics. And Rick Clay, R-I-K, Clay, C-L-A-Y, he was putting out a lot of information, and he's dead, you know. That makes me a little suspicious, too. And you had the Illuminati playing cards, which are one, you know, I don't know if people know about this, but I think it's enough that you should pay attention, because a catastrophic event like that will bring markets down, including silver. You know, like even, you know, the Japanese tsunami and earthquake, which in my mind probably was caused, you know. I'm not too much on this conspiracy stuff, but some stuff I got suspicions on big time. And that brought down the markets. You know, it brought down the Nikkei all the way, right? So we could possibly, you know, we know they're really itching for the war with Iran, and you know, all this type of stuff could bring that. There's something that could bring down the markets. That's another thing I was kind of thinking about. If I see this come up, I'm going to go ahead and buy some more something. If I see a real bad downturn, I'll buy something with the intention of getting rid of it pretty quick. Now, as far as another thing out there, and this is another stupid rumor, and you know, I picked up on this on face value too. You know, they said the price of silver was going up about $1 for the day because Eric Sprott make another offering of like over $200 million worth of silver to buy, took it off the market, and that rose the physical price. Well, I just read something by King Dynamite. This guy makes a hell of a lot more sense. I'm not even thinking about this stuff. I just know silver's going to come up, and I'm not really getting into much of the why or if and all this type of stuff. I know it is, and I think it's going to be heating up here very soon. But Kid Dynamite pointed out something. There was like all the barracudas and the predators just waiting for Sprott. In other words, they were fleecing them. In other words, they were moving the price of silver up, so you had to pay more. And that makes perfect sense. And it looks like, according to what Kid Dynamite, you look at his blog, Kid Dynamite blog, right? That's just how it is, one word. He says that if you look at, the numbers that the Sprott displays, that he's sitting on a lot more cash right now, which means, ergo, he probably didn't buy all this silver because he figures it's going to go down a little bit. Could be a very valid point. So, I noticed that the really big silver channels, or whatever you want to call them, big or whatever the hell they are basically a pile of snake oil. And I don't know why people are buying into that, but the basic premise of us possibly going into hyperinflation, or where it's 20-30% a year, I think that's a good bet, a very good bet. And silver's going to be one of your safeties. So I'm probably, I think if silver goes up a lot, commodities go up a lot as you head by the end of the year. I'm pulling out of most of the brokerage accounts, and I'm just going in credit union and cash, and the hell with it, and let it ride. Now, here's a couple main points from Bernanke. This was like very recent stuff, and I'm just basically highlighting a synopsis of the briefest points of what Bernanke's saying. Bernanke basically guaranteed to Congress the Fed can limit inflation while providing record stimulus, and he will not allow consumer price to rise while he's stimulating the economy. So, basically, I don't know what this guy's thinking, but that's not going to happen. But that's okay. He's our hero, because if you got mostly gold and silver, and that's what you're invested in, your investments are going to go way the hell up. I mean, even if he's able to hold down the prices of all the other commodities, silver and gold's going to go way up. There's no doubt about it. Fed policy is going to bring that stuff way the hell up because the dollar's going to toast. And eventually, it's probably a pretty good bet that the dollar is going mostly to toast. Even though that's the thing where you that's our medium of exchange in the United States, it is mainly going to toast. There's no doubt about it. Probably not going to take as long as you think, too, because once things start breaking up, that's what happens. They just fall apart. And I'm going to bring a little bit of an analogy to that, too, just here in a minute. If you got some patience, sorry. Hopefully I'm not going too long here. Bernanke says the Fed could take more steps to boost the economy. So, all this type of stuff is probably, these things are starting to heat up. He just said this a little while ago, actually. It's been hours, I think it was like yesterday or something. So when this FOMC meetings are coming out now today and tomorrow, pretty much it's not going to be like earth-shattering, but it's probably going to raise the markets. That's what I'm guessing. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about dumping more money in this crap is if there's an outside event, say with the Olympics, the 2012 Olympics, all these markets are going to go down. This could be like raising up, and it's going to be a fake out, and all the markets are going to go down. And interestingly, crude oil is almost $91 now, so things are starting to heat up. So, another thing, this is actually a picture of agriculture of corn grown in the United States. Most of the United States is, arid conditions. It's like 62% of the surface of the United States is in a drought, severe drought. There's all kinds of, disaster areas being declared. Now, I'm relating this to maybe the silver in this way because you know how market mood changes so bad? Like, things took off in, say, September 1st or the end of August on 2010. Then by April 2011, silver was at a fever pitch. Now for like basically a year, it's looking pretty bad, you know. I mean, ever since, say, September, the last September 2011 crash, things have been looking pretty bad. It goes up a little bit, then it goes down. It goes up a little bit, it goes down. Well, right now the mood is like the total opposite of what it was. But, you know, I almost want to compare this to what happened in the United States. You know, about a year ago, we were having all kinds of record rains. You know, there was all kinds of talks that the HARP and the Illuminati was making the rains come down more so they can make an earthquake in the United States and cause the New Madrid line to fall apart. I don't know. You know, when it gets into that kind of stuff, I don't really give a shit. I mean, the hell with it, really. So, but, you know, it went from one extreme to the other. So we went from a heavy rain to extreme drought. And, I mean, that's going to be basically a comparison of what's going to happen with the silver markets. We're probably going to go from one extreme to the other. And the next time it starts taking off, I'm not going to be afraid to sell some of it. Like, the word is, the adjective is sell, because I really wish I would know exactly when the turning point would be, and I think there's a few people that do. I think the top people in the silver market that have been around doing it for decades, they'll know. They'll have inside information. They do. But the silver bloggers and all this kind of garbage, either they're working with the top people or they're just complete morons. Because they're going to tell people, like, say it got up to $75 an ounce, $70 an ounce, or close to 80 or whatever. Say we really did spectacular, right? And it did this in a matter of, I don't know, 7 months or something, right? 6 months. Well, they would be predicting $200, $300, $400 silver inside of like 6 more months. And that is, I would think that is, if they start doing that kind of garbage, you better sell some, because it's probably going to pull back. And it's probably good to watch the tone of those type of people. So, now, with Bernanke, he's actually going to make our silver go up more than anything, but he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't think this guy really knows what the hell he's doing that much, even though he's Harvard educated and all this kind of garbage. He probably doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Typical egghead. Anyway, but when I'm looking at what's happening with the crop situation in the United States, if the Fed did no stimulus, well, guess what? It ain't going to matter, because the food prices are going up. So, and I guess all this stuff is genetically modified anyway, so whatever, you know. Punishment from God, right? So, anyway, it looks like, I think that, you know, when Bernanke's policy is coming out like this, and he's talking a little bit like this, and he's talking in front of Congress, his intentions are to stimulate the economy as much as possible, and he's guaranteed there's going to be no inflation. Now, I think that's a great idea, Ben, because there should be no inflation, and the only inflation we need to have is in our silver prices, gold prices, and especially palladium prices, and platinum too. Everything else can stay flat. I know it's not going to happen that way in an ideal world, because what we're going to see, even without federal policy, is a lot of food inflation. So, you know, in a way, Jim Rogers is right. So he got a good, he probably nailed it really good there. He's heavy into agriculture, and it looks like just weather alone is going to bring up a lot of the food prices a great deal this year. So we shall see. And combine that with Bernanke's policy, it's going to go way the hell up. And I'm sure Pastor Lindsey Williams is going to be out there saying, I see, I told you so, I told you so. Whatever. These guys are all on crack, that's all I got to say. Silver's going up, hang on to it. I don't know. People are changing their tune, some people flip-flop back and forth. I just know that markets go in cycles. Not every damn thing's a conspiracy, for crying out loud. And I'm just going to keep putting out my junk on this thing, because I get tired of some of these whack jobs out here. They have no clue what goes on in markets at all. And, you know, it's an interesting point. I just want to repeat that again, belabor that point about Kid Dynamite. It looks like they were waiting for Sprott because Sprott was getting ready. You know, he announces he's going to be buying more silver, so they jacked up the price. He wasn't causing the price to go up because he was buying it. I guess you could say he was in a way because they were setting him up. They're juicing him. So actually, he probably, you know, according to Kid Dynamite, he probably didn't buy all of it yet, so because he's sitting on some cash. Quite interesting little theory because I think it's very accurate. So.